Martin Garrix is a famous Dutch musician, DJ, and producer who made his name at a very young age. His hard work, delicate musical taste, and limitless perspectives help him to become one of the brightest young stars of electronic dance music. In this video, we'll talk about the talented musician's life and music. Martin Garrix, how the world's best DJ lives and where he spends his millions. Martin Gerard Garritsen, that's the real name of our hero, was born in the Dutch village of Amstelveen, not far from Amsterdam, on May 14, 1996. There is little known about the family of the dance floor star. His parents' names are Karen and Gerard Garritsen. The boy's love for music was instilled by his father, who was a professional guitar player. Already at 4, the future DJ began to take an active interest in music, learning to play the Spanish guitar and passionately studying the notes. When the young musician was 8 years old, he saw the famous DJ Tiesto playing. His performance at the closing ceremony of the Olympic Games in Athens impressed him so much that Martin decided to become a DJ by all means. He immediately began saving up for special software that would allow him to write his own music. It took him 3 long years, and his first choice was the most affordable program, Fruity Loops, which the 11-year-old learned without any help. At the time, no one around him believed that anything could come of this strange beginning. But he fanatically started writing dance music and took the stage name Martin Garrix. It is ironic, but the boy not only had time to actively engage in creative work, but also to study hard. Even though he dropped out of high school, a few years later he graduated with honors from the Herman Brood Academy, which specializes in the education of producers and musicians. Alumni of this music school are many talented Dutch singers and DJs, among whom are rapper Snell and the duo Sub-Zero Project. Already at 14, Martin signed a contract with the music label Spinnin' Records, becoming its youngest member. To celebrate his birthday, Martin organized a huge dance party, inviting all his friends as well as friends of friends. According to Martin's memories, there were about 400 people. One of the tracks, called Torrent, was noticed by his idol, a major electronic star, DJ Tiesto. He praised Garrix's work and signed the track to his own label. This event was an important starting point in the career of the future star. Martin decided to start recording his first album. In 2013, the track Animals was released, which immediately soared to the top of almost all the charts, and also became the best-selling track in the American online music store Beatport. Martin didn't expect that his first composition would have such a resonance. He admitted that he took the main theme for the track from his old archival works simply because he thought the melody was catchy and unforgettable enough. The release of the track was followed by interesting things. The producers decided to add an element of intrigue to the premiere and did not name the author, starting a wave of guesses about who could release the track. Among the candidates for the authorship were Hardwell, Tiesto, and Laidback Luke. Finally, a real hero was announced a month later, but a lot of people didn't believe it, so Martin had to give a public explanation. He recorded a very detailed video about how he created Animals and accidentally let slip that he had used unlicensed software. However, the wave of hatred remained for a long time and left Garrix with an unpleasant aftertaste. After a while, he even released the track Don't Look Down with singer Asher, in which he responds to the detractors who wrote mean comments on the web and called him a loser. Don't look down. As for his personal life, it is not characterized as stormy or too public. Because of his relatively young age and very busy schedule, it is not an easy task to have a stable relationship. It is known that he loves spending time with his family. Especially, he likes to take his sister Laura with him everywhere and gets terribly upset if she cannot accompany him on a trip. In 2013, the promising musician began an affair with the blonde Dutch model and artist Lynn Spoor. Unfortunately, the couple's busy schedules made it impossible for them to maintain their relationship, and they broke up after 2 years. Martin didn't grieve long in loneliness and almost instantly became infatuated with content creator Sonia Horn. But this attempt was also unsuccessful. A year later, they separated. According to some reports, Martin cheated on his beloved. In 2014, Martin collaborated with Jay Hardway, a resident of the Spinnin' Records label, to release his next work called Wizard, which again was a great success in many countries around the world. In the next year, a milestone event awaited Garrix. He recorded a joint track, The Only Way Is Up, with his idol DJ Tiesto on May 4th, 2015. It is noteworthy that this work, thanks to its energy and drive, became one of the themes of the advertising campaign for the popular soft drink 7-Up. Meanwhile, Martin took part for the first time in the Ultra Music Festival, which is traditionally held in Miami, USA. His performance lasted for an hour, during which he presented 8 new tracks. All of them were a great success with the audience. In addition, he won an MTV Europe Music Award in the category Best Electronic Music Performer. Also in 2015, Martin released 2 joint tracks with a popular duo from St. Petersburg, the brothers Alexander and Yuri Parkhamenko, known as Matisse and Sadko. The compositions Break Through the Silence and Dragon were highly praised by music critics and fans, and the joint work resulted in a long-term and fruitful collaboration. In 2015, the DJ had a huge fight with his manager from Spinnin' Records, Jelko Van Kooten, over the details of his contract with the label. Garrix announced that some parts of the contract had misrepresented him, as a result of which he could lose the rights to some of his works. Van Kooten was fired and the trial ended sometime later, with Martin regaining the right to dispose of intellectual property, particularly the tracks released before August 2015. However, the musician was not completely satisfied with the results of the trial and promised to return to this issue later. This was resolved only in September 2017, when the court ruled to finally terminate the contract with Spinnin' Records and return the right to the music to Garrix. Largely thanks to this unpleasant incident, Martin founded his own music label, Stampede Records, in the spring of 2016. For its presentation, he threw a grand party at the end of Ultra Music Festival. Today, the label has nearly 4 dozen successful musicians. Meanwhile, our hero has released 11 new tracks of his own, which were also worked on by Matisse and Sadko and his old friends Jay Hardway and Julian Jordan, with whom Martin recorded one of his first tracks. In April 2016, the documentary Martin Garrix The Ride was released, and in the fall, he had already received congratulations on another victory in the Best Electronic Music Artist category of the European MTV Awards. At that time, there were rumors that Garrix was dating British singer of Kosovo origin Dua Lipa, but there was no proof of this info. Most likely the guys used this news to boost interest in working together. This is easy enough to believe because Martin is a great expert at twisting intrigue. In 2016, for example, he and DJ Madi staged a hack of their social media to get fans' attention for the release of new tracks. Garrix and Lipa's music video for Scared to Be Lonely, released in 2017, was as vivid and sensual as the song itself. On the first day of its publication on YouTube, the clip was viewed by 1 million users. Soon it became known that Martin found a new love, Dutch model Sherelle Schriek. The details of their relationship has traditionally been very little. A few photos together and cautious remarks on the web. The romance of Sherelle and Martin lasted 2 years, after which they parted without much publicity. It is unknown whether the heart of the famous bachelor is now occupied. As usual, Martin carefully protects the secrecy of his personal life, usually limiting himself to very discreet comments about his relationships. In 2017, Martin continued his triumphal march in the world of electronic music. He recorded a joint track with Troye Sivan, There For You, which became the #1 download in the App Store in no time, and to date has garnered 350 million views on YouTube. Running, just to keep my hands on you. Towards the end of the year, Garrix really struck the public with his collaboration with David Guetta, one of the most famous DJs on the planet. Literally right after its release, So Far Away became a #1 hit and stayed at the top of the world charts for several months. So far away. In 2018, Garrix and Guetta repeated their success with a new song, Like I Do, which not only became mega popular with fans, but also earned the honor of closing the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. It's amazing, but it only took this phenomenal musician 14 years to go from a boy who was excited about opening the Olympics to being an in-demand artist closing them. But music is not his only occupation in life. Martin actively participates in charity projects and tries to make the world around him a little bit better. For example, in 2016, he took an active part in an event dedicated to the fight against cancer and support for people with this terrible diagnosis. Besides, before the beginning of his tour in India, Garrix performed a charity show in Mumbai to which 50,000 people came. In 2017, the musician was declared an international friend of a children's village in South Africa, a unique project to which Martin expressed his sympathy and support for the building of orphanages for children without parents. In 2018, Garrix recorded the track Ocean with American singer Khalid. In addition to the fact that the track, as always, turned out very successful, its backstory is quite interesting. About a year before its release, Khalid tweeted to Garrix that he had received an offer from a fan to join forces to create a new song. Martin immediately said yes, and with a fan's good graces, the collaboration took place. Actually, the young DJ is very happy to work in pairs with his colleagues. In total, in 2018, the DJ released 12 new tracks, among which there are almost no solo works. These include the collaboration of Martin with the Swedish singer Bon, which resulted in the life-affirming composition High on Life, presented during the annual music festival Tomorrowland in Belgium. Another track, Burnout, appeared thanks to the joint efforts of American singer Dwayne Whitmore and the popular Dutch DJ Justin Milo. Toward the end of the year, Martin presented a new single, Dreamer, together with singer Mike Young. Over the next 3 years, Garrix released new tracks one after another, among which were true masterpieces such as We Are the People. The song was recorded together with the legendary musicians of U2, Bono, and Edge. The song was specifically written and produced by Garrix for the European Football Championships.
We are the people we've been waiting for.
In 2019, during the Amsterdam Music Festival, it was announced that Martin would be the author of the official Euro 2020 anthem. Garrix has repeatedly delighted his fans by stating that he would work tirelessly and release a great deal of music. But even in his wildest dreams, it was impossible to imagine that he would manage to release almost 100 tracks during his musical career. Interestingly, the musician unveiled his first studio album just recently. On April 29, 2022, his label released a record titled Sentio, which included 11 tracks. Martin may have picked up the key to his success by finding his unique signature playing style. His combination of progressive house with elements of pop and instrumental classics makes his tracks catchy and accessible to a very wide audience. Garrix is meticulous about his image, positioning himself as a full-fledged brand. He masterfully promotes it through social media, successful collaborations, and a crystal-clear reputation. In the same 2022, Martin was named the best DJ in the world by DJ Magazine. It is interesting that it happened for the 4th time. Previously, he was ranked #1 for 3 years in a row from 2016 to 2018. And since 2015, he's been in the top 3 all the time. The musician lives in Amsterdam. The design of his house is modern and laconic. The owner has a spacious kitchen and living room, a gym, and his own recording studio. Martin also has a residence in Ibiza. For the 9th episode of his YouTube show, he made a video of how he lives and works. According to the footage, the Snow White villa is never quiet for a minute. DJ friends scurry from room to room, recording new tracks on the fly and bombshell jumping into the pool right from the 2nd floor balcony. The young upbeat vibes match the kind of audience Garrix's work is meant to reach. The design of the house follows the rule, minimum furniture, maximum space. The dance floor star does not hide his car fleet and gladly demonstrates it. He bought his first car at the age of 22 when he didn't even have a driver's license yet. The luxurious supercar Lamborghini Murcielago with almost 600 horsepower was a dream come true, but only the beginning. After that, Garrix took possession of a Ferrari 458 Italia, which cost $230,000, a Ferrari 488 GTB capable of speeding up to 100 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds, and a BMW i8 concept car. The creators of the latter say this is a miracle of technology, combining the power of a real sports car with the economy of a small car and eco-friendliness of an electric car. The musician also has the timeless classics at his disposal, the executive Mercedes S-Class and the luxurious Rolls-Royce Phantom. Martin spends every summer in Ibiza, totally dedicated to his business. Several evenings a week, he plays in popular clubs, and on weekends he flies around the world, delighting his fans by belting out electronic music. Martin likes to spend his free time with his musician friends, with whom he enjoys eating pizza with strawberry milkshakes and jet skiing. By the way, pizza is his favorite food, along with tropical passion fruit. He's willing to eat it literally every day, and there's even a clause in his rider that the host must provide the DJ with hot and delicious pizza. The musician's friends say that he is so energetic and malleable that he can say hello to them in the morning and immediately inform them that he has decided to fly to Las Vegas tonight and can sleep on the plane. Not only does this bring adrenaline to life, but also contributes to very large earnings. Today, Martin Garrix's fortune is estimated at $30 million, making him one of the highest paid DJs on the planet. His income comes not only from his music and shows, but also from his advertising campaigns. In 2018, Martin starred alongside Colombian singer Maluma in a commercial for the popular soccer video game FIFA 19, and his track is played in the commercial for the 7-Up drink mentioned earlier. In addition, in 2015, Martin signed a contract with Swiss watchmaker Tag Heuer, becoming an ambassador for the brand. He was also the face of the Armani Exchange fashion brand. The amount of advertising contracts was not disclosed, but given Garrix's huge audience, we can assume that the numbers are pretty decent, and these revenues add significantly to his budget. On October 2022, it was announced that the DJ had signed a contract with Marvel under which he would write music for the corporation's video games. Fans speculated that the music would appear in the Marvel Snap card game, but they were wrong. Perhaps it will happen after the release of Spider-Man 2, World of Heroes, or Wolverine in 2023. Martin Garrix is a promising and versatile young man. Raised on altruistic ideals and the search for new ideas in music, Garrix once mentioned in an interview that one of his priorities for the near future is to write soundtracks for movies and produce films. What genres do you think Martin's tracks would be good for? If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything interesting.